Community and Wellbeing Officer. The Community and Wellbeing Officer advocates for and supports student mental health. They will work closely with university support services and champion student wellbeing.
Hello, I'm Corey Anderson. Joining me across the table is Hannah Nimmo, Outgoing Community and Wellbeing Officer. Hello, Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
That's good, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So how has your year went as Community and Wellbeing
It's
Officer?
been so good. So I'm a second year sub, so I've been in the role for over a year and a half now. This year's actually been so good. It's been a really intense year.
Yeah.
Even the last 2 years, it's been a very turbulent year for students, and therefore it's been a very interesting time at the student union as well. But I've absolutely loved the whole time I've been in. I'm really sad to go. I'm really excited to see the elections all starting up, but it does make me say, oh, I haven't actually got very long left now.
Yeah, it's sort of that reminder that it's
it's
come to an
really it's really bittersweet because I'm so excited to see who comes and see all the big things that they get up to next. But I'm like, I actually have to leave myself for that to happen, which is quite sad, really.
Yeah. So what would you say is your proudest moment you've had as a SAB this year?
Oh, that's a very big question. I think for me, it's probably the Fix First campaign that I led on, which was the campaign to reinstate the free campus buses on the free campus route on the 66 and 67 buses.
Yeah.
And that was a huge campaign. There was a lot of effort that went on behind the scenes with that. There was a lot of negotiation with the university and First Bus York as well. But to be able to re-secure that for students, that's probably the proudest achievement that I've got, because it'll be the thing that I'm probably remembered for this year as well, which is a pretty good thing to be remembered for as well.
I mean, you did give me you've sort of jumped ahead a bit there, because I was going to ask you about First Bus, because obviously it's been a big year.
Yeah.
That was one of the things you campaigned on. You mentioned First Bus in your interview last year. Is there anything you think is still to be done on the First Bus side?
To me, it's reinstating the free bus back down to Halifax College, because the whole point of having that C1, or what was the UB1 shuttle bus, was to make sure that all areas of campus were accessible, and that includes Campus South, where Halifax College is based.
Yeah.
And currently it's still not accessible because we can't get a bus down there. So I'm still working with First Bus on how we can get a bus back down into there, but there's some health and safety things that we have to sort out with the university first. But to me, that's the one key thing, at least, that needs addressing, hopefully, before I go, just because that area of campus is now quite inaccessible for some people, so we really need to get that done as a matter of priority.
Is there anything you think you could have either handled better or done more towards in your year as Community Wellbeing Officer?
I mean, I've been reflecting on this, really, because I think the biggest things across both of my years as an officer that I've spent the most time working on have been things, unfortunately, that weren't on my manifesto. So in my first year as an officer, the cost of living crisis didn't exist when I wrote my manifesto, but it was the thing I had to work on most last year. And then similarly, buses went on my manifesto this year, but Fix First happened, and that's been sort of the biggest thing that I've done this year and delivered on. So I think for me, it's almost like there's so many things that I wanted to do, and I just kind of ran out of time a little bit, which is quite natural in a role like this, where you have to be so responsive to the issues that are facing the student community. But to me, I think that's my sort of regret, is that there's some bigger projects that I'd sort of planned to deliver on that had to get pushed to the wayside a little bit to allow other things to happen, which is okay, because I've still delivered for students nonetheless. But yeah, there were some things I did want to do that I think I'm just going to run out of time to do, sadly.
And also, you've been in the position of Community and Wellbeing Officer for 2 years now. You've sat 2 terms, and that's obviously probably given you quite a lot more experience than the usual outgoing officer.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice, or more than one piece of advice, to an incoming Community and Wellbeing Officer, what would that be?
It sounds sort of slightly counterintuitive to the answer I've just given, but it's take your time, because I think it's quite a big remit, and obviously I'm going to be handing my portfolio over to 2 officers next year, because there's the Equality and Inclusion Officer as well, who'll be taking sort of the EDI stuff that I work on at the moment. So it gives a bit more breathing space for 2 people to work on this portfolio, but it is just take your time, and sort of take your time to learn the people, to learn what the issues are, and because there's some quite intricate policies and committees and all that sort of stuff that you do in this role. And I felt it took me probably about 6 months or so to actually fully get my head around the role, and that was sort of one of the things that led me to run for a second year. But it was just take your time, and just take your time to learn things as well. And if you're learning on the job as well, that's completely fine.
Yeah, that's good. I think just generally, how do you think this year has gone then? Just overall,
I think,
a quick summary of the year. I mean,
it's been a roller coaster of a year, I would say, but I think it's been a really positive one. We've been able to make a lot of change for students. I'm really proud of the work that I've done and that my team has done. So yeah, I'm really excited for what's coming up next.
That's great. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And next, we are going to be passing over to Studio Blue for another interview with another Community and Wellbeing Officer. Thank you.